any thoughts you have on overcoming the inertia of knowing, oh, this would be good to do, to actually putting yourself in motion in some way? Because I find that many people, and I see this in myself, have thoughts of, oh, I know this would be good to do, but somehow the inertia can often prevent that feeling of engagement that actually is more enlivening than just knowing, oh, this would be good for me to do. This is something that I've been more and more focusing in, and for myself as well, which is one of the reasons, say, why I decided to do this series, because I thought, well, what can I do? What would I like to do, and what do I have the opportunity to do? Oh, this is one contribution that I could make, and I'm looking at other contributions so that hopefully people can find out for themselves what their gifts or opportunities are, and put them into action. So that's where the question is coming from.
So, sometimes I really do treasure quotes that have pith wisdom. And here's another one that I just came across recently. It's from the Talmud. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. So when we try to find our way of taking a step forward, I just thought of this one too. My mind works like this sometimes. Helen Keller says, I long to do great and noble deeds, but the world's safety is pushed along also by the honest shoves of each honest worker. Tiny little movements in the right direction. And so I teach a practice of do one scary thing a day. Because when we can train the brain to take that, not just inertia, but that signal anxiety, oh, I don't think I should be doing this. When we can train the brain to meet the inertia or meet the signal anxiety with an action, it moves the brain into action. And we train ourselves to respond rather than staying inert or staying scared. And to do something small and little at first is fine. It's just fine, because that's how the world changes. When we take wise action from a full and loving heart with our deepest intention to make a difference, it makes a difference. Every choice has an impact. And so we keep doing the scary thing or the uncomfortable thing or the uncertain thing. Dr. Martin Luther King said, faith is taking the first step without seeing the whole staircase. So you take the first step, and then another, and then another. And then you join in with other people who are taking their steps, and another, and another. And pretty soon you're in motion, and you kind of wonder how you got there. But it was because you made that first initial choice, that first initial step.
So, what you're saying, there's a few things in what you're saying. One is that you don't have to be overwhelmed by the enormity of the task and feel you have to save the world, that you do something that just gets you in motion. And as Angela Sarian used to say, action absorbs anxiety.
Right.
And that in itself not only is relieves the anxiety and gives you a sense of contribution, but that in itself is also magnetizing and inspiring to others who might want to play with you or join you, or you join some others who are doing something. And I always find that when you're doing something with others in a concerted action of goodwill, there's a kind of multiplication of courage, as Nelson Mandela has said. So taking that first step and doing it as something that you're doing to benefit yourself.
So for me to be honest here, when I feel overwhelmed and that happens, I will go to hand on the heart, may I be kind to myself in this moment. I go to the mindful self-compassion practice, which helps bring me out of overwhelm into a different perspective, into a different state within my own being. And I can come back to that equanimity. So there is overwhelm, there is startle, there's distress, there's despair. And I keep doing that practice to come out of that difficult state into a state that's more open and that can remember, well, all I have to do is one small thing with integrity, one small thing with integrity, and that will get me going, and that's enough.
Mm-hmm. Lovely, lovely. And, just share in recent days, Jane and I have been looking at what we can do, particularly what's needed these days, and besides doing this series, one thing that she's gotten into that I'm going to be joining her is seeing the importance of getting out the vote and giving people as much voice as possible. So I am going to be stretching myself and going to some groups that are actively engaging in doing that in areas other than Berkeley. I live in Berkeley. I don't have to wonder how voting is going to be going in this district, but to really go to places where there might be a number of people who don't feel the voice counts, even, so that they aren't motivated to. But these days, giving voice to people who really care, who haven't felt they have a voice, I think is going to be really important in this coming year. So I'm stretching myself that way, and just kind of seeing, oh, well, what'll this be like? I know it'll feel good, at least, that I've done something.